it had the weight, which was difficult for us to. So how do you get that weight? How do you develop the weight? So one thing you have to know, or if you focus on, is that when you practice, and if you practice regularly, every day, for an hour, 2 hours, whatever you practice, you will notice one thing, and that is that your hand or your fingers seem to swell. थोड़ा फूलते हैं, और ये पक्का है कि नहीं? फिर आप सोचते हैं अरे सूज गया, अभी नहीं बजाएंगे, थोड़ा सूजन कम हो जाए, so that it becomes normal and then fine. But the idea is to keep that sujan. The idea is to keep that thickness that arrives in your hand with practice and practice and practice. So, like you can tell from my hand, I hardly practice. Which is true, actually, I'm with I hardly practice. But if you practice, eventually your hand will develop that weight, that thickness, that strength. It doesn't matter, you don't have to play hard. You can play in normal volume. But when your hand develops that thickness, it will slowly find that weight. Okay, you will see tabla players who practice a lot, that weight does appear. It does appear. It's rare that a tabla player practices a lot and the hands still remain thin. That also happens, but it's not a regular thing. I mean, if you see Yogesh Bhai's hand, you can tell he practices a lot because his fingers are thicker, and when he hits, there's a weight on the sound. So that's there. So that's the thing you should keep an eye on, because when you practice, you must let the hand develop that fullness, visible fullness. Not the sound की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, visible fullness. The sound will arrive. अब रहा क्रिकेट का सवाल, when I used to play, I mean, in my younger age, at home in Simla house, there would be somebody like Naseem Bhai or Shabbir Bhai or somebody would come. खासा थोड़ा बजाते हैं, थोड़ा बैठते हैं, तो हारमोनियम पे ले रहा, तो then he would start to play, मुझे भी बिठा लिया कि बैठ बजाओ. So at that time, he didn't teach like, okay, now play this or that. He just played and I have to play back. Right? So he would play kaidas and stuff which I probably knew. So, so when he played, it sounded like. When I played, because I was not aware that, you know, how to do the nikas. He was not playing, he was also playing with the fingers, but his fingers were so thick and there was so much weight on his sound that it sounded like he was playing. But he was not. He was playing straight cricket, because if you notice, he played his relas were very fast. You know, one of those recordings from Pakistan, the LP is so fast. So this way, it's technically almost impossible to be playing at that speed level. So it had to have been that he was playing straight, but his hands are so big, that are so thick, that it sounded like a full hand sort of a thing was happening. So I was just playing. So that's what I was playing when I was younger. But then I noticed that when I'm playing with him, his tone is so full. So at that point, in order to match the tone, I started playing like this. It just kind of happened one day that suddenly noticed that I could do this and it will sound fuller. As opposed to, if you listen to Shaukat Hussain Khan Sahab or any of the other tabla players of Punjab Gharana, they play finger playing.
Yeah.
They are not playing full hand playing. That was never the issue in those days. So they just, play. This is what they play. Yeah. So this is what they play. But I ended up doing only to be able to match the weight and the tone of what Abbaji was playing. So that's basically how it happened. But that tariqat does exist. The full hand tariqat is there. It is played. But even if you listen to or see video of Pandit Shamta Prasad ji, he's not playing this. It's off finger. But his fingers were also thick. So you got that tone, that fullness of the tone which was there. So it appeared to be like as if a full-handed execution is being made, but it wasn't. It's just the way it was. That those hands. So अभी भी आप लोग भी बजाते हो, तो ये nothing wrong with it, जरूर बजाइए, और उसको मिक्स भी कर सकते हैं, सर. Mixes it. So I'm mixing it. So then you can create an illusion of a weighted sound by mixing it up like that.
तो practice करके weighted sound तो लाना ही पड़ेगा.
All those stories about कि कड़ा पहनो हाथ में वो बजाओ, it's all there, but just wear a heavy Rolex. You'll be fine. So basically, his fingers, but every now and then he would mix it up. So it was a mixture of both full hand and fingers. Then it worked. Then you.
उस समय में वो पूरा ही खराब कर जाते हैं.
Abbaji, I think this is what I wanted to say. In Nikas is a very shady thing. I said it earlier. And the reason why I said it earlier was because what you play slow, you don't necessarily play fast. You always have to adjust. You always have to kind of cheat a little. In certain compositions, not all compositions, but certain compositions, certain nikas, it's a little difficult to be able to play faster. And then
it was funny because the first time I met Ustad Alla, the first thing he complained about was everybody plays something different when they play fast than when they play slow. They should be playing the same thing. He just complained about that the whole. He was naming Tabla players. You hear this guy? He's playing different when he plays fast.
Yeah, but that's exactly.
That's the way it is.
That is true. It is the way it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of difficult. I mean, you take Delhi and you say, okay, 2 fingers. Now you're playing dhati dagina, dhatri dhati dagati nagina. Not possible with 2 fingers at speed level. You can't do it. And then there are variations. The bal, when you open it up, dhati dagina, dhatri dhati dagati nagina, dhatri dhati dagati nagina. That's not possible with the 2 fingers. You have to add something else. It has to be. has to be 3 fingers. It can't be 2. कैसे बजाओगे? नहीं हो. So you have to realize, अभी you spend 10 hours a day for 3 months trying to do it with 2 fingers because that's what it's supposed to be. No, that's exactly what happened with me. When I was learning to play, and then sometimes I would listen to, like I played that Khalifa Abadi's thing. I don't know how he played it. I've only heard it. I just figured out what was the closest I could make it sound like. And that's what it was. A lot of tabla players, senior ones felt that bilkul wohi hai, but not necessarily. So you have to take it upon yourself to be doing something that is not supposedly right. Let's find your way to be able to present. That has to happen. So I don't know how Khalifa Badi Hussain Khasa played. Right? Now, what is the natural instinct? Normal instinct is to go. Legitimate, it's there. जो मैं slow में वो बजाया, लेकिन वो flow नहीं मिल रहा. जो the flow that he has in his playing in the recording was not there. It's not coming. It's still hesitant. Why? Because I'm going that way and I'm coming back. That way back. That way back. The trick to playing a fast rela is that it flows in one direction. If it's flowing in one direction, it can be smooth. If you're going to zigzag with your hand technique, nikas, then you will find that you are, it's like when a train switches tracks. So, it happens like that. So I had to find a way to see what is the way where it will flow better. And it was not anything that his nikas was. It was something that we do in Punjab anyway. I just utilized that and made it sound like, so instead of so I just switched. What did I do? It's just Dati. It's basically just Dati. I just figured out that it was kind of close. So I would hear the recording and then it sounds kind of close. And all the variations that he was doing, I figured out that I could do them while playing it like this. So I don't know if he played it like this, but that's what I did. And you guys all went, It's the easiest thing, really. The other way is harder. It's harder. But this way is easier. And so, nikas, again, bless you, is a very shady thing, and it's a subjective thing, and it's an individual thing. You must figure it out. I mean, for yourself. There are many compositions that have been composed because they sound good when they are spoken. Yes, they sound very good when they are spoken. But they don't necessarily translate into that fun when you're actually playing it. If you're playing it exactly the way you've decided, you've got to switch it. अभी अपखावा जाए धाकिट तकिट तका किट तक धे ताकिट तक दिगे धाकिट तकिट तका किट तक धे ताकिट तकिट तक तक तिक तक दिगे धाकिट तक धितान था तिक तक दिगे धाकिट तक धितान ला तिक तक दिगे धाकिट तक धितान ला धाकिट तकिट तका किट तक धे. अब आप क्या बजाओगे? That's correct. But it's an open sound and a closed sound, and they are two very different frequencies. So there you will only hear. Unless you go. So what did the Guru do? Instead of saying dha ke te taka, he played dha te ne ke te taka, dha te ne ke te taka. So it's so in dha ke te taka became dha te ne ke te taka. So so it changes. So Kitata Katha became Tidigita. So this is something that you have to remember. I mean, in the old days, a lot of the maestros played the Qaida I've seen with my own eyes someone like Ustad Alla of Delhi, and he played it and superb. I mean, very sharp guitar and everything was so crisp. Yeah. But I've also seen him switch to reverse guitar, like they do in Banaras or in Punjab. So while he's playing, switching, I've seen that. So that switching is not is sacrilege in Delhi Haram, but it was done. So when it was done, you have to accept that the way the phrasing of the variation is, that it required that for the flow. For the flow.
That is art. कला बहुत बड़ी है.
हाँ. अब आप ते दादा के ना सीधे भी बजा सकते हैं. लेकिन when you play reverse, the flow is more smoother. It's a you have more dynamic control over it. You don't have that dynamic control when you play it the way as prescribed. So when you're practicing, that's what you have to think about. You have to think about what is the smoothest way to execute a particular composition without compromising its shape, its poetry, and its nikas. Too much. So these are things that you have to keep in mind, right? So like yeah. So now Abba used to do that. A wall is nothing like the theory guitar that you're playing. It's nothing like this. The hand doesn't even move sideways. So that's what it is. If you slow it down and you play it in slow-mo, that's what it is. That's all it is. So I mean, all of us like break ourselves down to like nervous wrecks trying to go. And it's like, why is that in it? Why doesn't it sound like that? Why isn't it coming? So what is the important part in that phrase is this. So if you can get that correct, and then the rest is just a target, but and if you get that flow, it's fine. Because it will be difficult when you play fast. Coming back to this. But if this is already stationary, So hand is stationary, it's not even moving. Right?